There was a commercial in the mid 90s, and the commercial said, "Do you know where your children are?" Because boomers had to be reminded that they had kids. It is 2:57 a.m. in the morning where I am, so I'm going to ask you to excuse my vocal fry as I welcome you to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. We're going to be talking about Roblox, this viral children's game, and how Roblox, the CEO of Roblox, sends a cease and desist to a child who caught half a dozen PDF files. I can't say the real word, especially not in the first 5 minutes of the video, because YouTube will censor me, and we don't want that. We want YouTube to greenlight my video and allow me to monetize. So, PDF files, but you as an adult, you as a thinking person, you can fill in the blanks. Just like they say on Alive to mean the D word, you can fill in the blanks for PDF files. I'm obviously not talking about a document. I'm very obviously not speaking of a document. So I'm going to share with you a child named Schlep. That is not his real name, but that is his username online. And this male child caught six predators. And Roblox said to him, "It's not for you to get on here seducing adults and then getting them in would-be situation." Said to a child that they were seducing adults. What does that sound like? Victim blaming. And Lord, I said that in the first 5 minutes. Let me tell you something. If you don't know why we have these introductions and these things that we play before our videos begin, this is exactly why. It's to be friendly with the YouTube algorithm so that it does not reject us. This is Schlep.
I have just gotten a legal complaint from Roblox. I'm not even joking. They have sent a cease and desist letter to me, and they've gone ahead and banned every account I own. And you might be wondering, what heinous crime did you commit to possibly deserve that? Well, what I did was get predators arrested on their platform. Actually, six of them. I got six predators arrested within the Roblox community. Some of them, the crimes are so heinous, I can't even say here on TikTok or wherever this is going. And the thing that's crazy about it is that Roblox has taken a more firm action against me, a person getting these people arrested, a person that law enforcement has made public statements saying that they are glad when people like me go ahead and give them information so that they can arrest these people. Roblox has sent me the cease and desist letter, not these predators. That is absolutely insane. And the other thing that's crazy about this is Roblox itself. It is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids. That is the whole game. If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this. And it's so sad. I get emails from kids daily about all the horrible stuff that they're exposed to. I get emails from parents talking about what their kids were exposed to. And there are so many predators on this platform. It is actually unreal. So it's quite crazy to see Roblox go after me, a person trying to get predators arrested off of their platform, then the predators. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. I have just gotten a legal.
So I hope you paid attention to what he said about that bathroom simulator. That bathroom, that public bathroom simulator. It's like a gym shower. They've got toilets and they've got showers. And grown adults, grown 30, 40, 50-year-old men are on Roblox making avatars that are completely naked. You can create an avatar that looks like Beyonce, that looks like, you know, Miss Rachel, that looks like a panda, that looks like a Power Ranger. You can create whatever you want to. As long as you have enough Roblox money or Roblox dollars, you can create that avatar. These grown people are going on there knowing that there are 4, 5, and 6-year-olds on this game making their avatars completely naked. They are showing up naked. Some of them are using voice simulators to sound like they're younger, but a lot of them have their grown male voice. Excuse me. I thought I was going to sneeze. Grown man voice on there playing with your preteens, offering them Roblox money to meet in person. Now, thanks to the world we live in, right? Because the boomers, they let us go outside and come home when the lights were on. We ended up in different people's houses, and unfortunately, a lot of violence happened to children because, you know, between boomers and Gen X, we still thought we had a village. We still thought we could go to neighbors' houses and slumber parties and be all right. And this has created the younger Gen X parent down to millennial, down to Gen Z, who does not allow their kids to have sleepovers or, can I go over in so and so's house? Do they have a brother or a dad? Well, yeah, well, no, you can't go. So, because of what we experienced, because of the situation that created that commercial, do you know where your children are? I could play a version of it for you, but commercial, nationwide commercial, begging boomers to look for their kids. You want to talk about what created 90s kids roaming the streets, walking around, street kids, whatever. Do you know where your kids are? Don't be in and outside of my house. Come home when the street lights are on. Gone. Okay. So, shower simulators, where these grown men and their naked avatars are in the bathroom having 7 billion hits. 7 billion hits. There are different simulators. There are city simulators. There are forest simulators. There are concert simulators. There are simulators on Roblox. In the shower simulator, these grown men are in there with well, predominantly boys play Roblox. It's not that girls are not on Roblox. It's not that teens are not on Roblox, but this is predominantly preteens and predominantly male. These grown men are on there with your little boys, giving them their phone numbers, asking for their phone numbers, talking about, oh, you're my best friend. You can tell me anything, grooming them, offering them Roblox money. Like, hey, I'll give you 1,000 Roblox dollars if you meet with me in person. I just want to meet my best friend. And here's the deal. I am pulling up a picture. I'll play you another video. I'll because I'm looking for an update. Schlep Roblox update. I'm going to show you the face of the CEO who yeah, I'm going to show you who he is.
Are on Roblox. If your kids are on Roblox, give me a second because you're going to want to hear exactly what I have to say. I promise you. This even had my 12-year-old approaching me to let me know that she's no longer comfortable playing on the app. That's saying a lot. There's a creator, Gideon, and he works with someone named Schlep, and they make YouTube videos and TikToks about catching predators on Roblox and other platforms. And they've actually had several arrests and a lot of people called out. Well, Roblox has now.
I want to make it clear that Roblox, their cease and desist included calling the boy like, you're seducing adults. Like they're treating him like he is some Dateline reality TV show predator or how to catch a predator type situation. And while there are people out there who are like that, this is not him. What he is doing that they're calling seductive is literally being a kid playing Roblox, playing the game exactly how it should be played, with your headphones, with your microphone, talking, engaging, interacting, creating avatars, creating simulations, visiting other people in their simulations. He's literally just a boy playing the game. He's literally just a boy playing the game. And just him being in his age group around all these adult men who are on Roblox, this is what has been said to him. It's like telling a woman who is assaulted, well, what were you wearing? And that's why there is a museum dedicated to what um, victims were wearing when they were raped without AG. And you see all kind of diapers and onesies and jumpsuits and overalls, dresses, church dresses, Easter dresses, Short dresses, long pants, long dresses, slacks, blazers, tie, suit and tie, just everything. And the meaning of that museum, it's like it never mattered what she was wearing. They got hijabs in there, they got burqas in there. It never mattered what she was wearing. Stop blaming the victim. Stop looking for ways to say to the victim, you were asking for it. And that's exactly how they're talking to this fully dressed little boy who was just on there being a little boy.
This man named Schlep just got sued by Roblox for trying to catch child predators. Watch. Okay, so if you haven't heard the news by now, a 22-year-old YouTuber who goes around catching Roblox PDFs and exposes them online got permanently banned on Roblox and got fully sued by Roblox for doing this. But the craziest thing about this all is he's not even doing anything bad. He's exposing Roblox users who are grooming and manipulating kids on the platform. And the saddest thing about this all is Roblox is even adding a dating app into the game, a dating app to a kids game. Like, what? But that's not all, because a lot of people have started to come out and say that Roblox is supposed to be for kids, and it's a good thing that they're trying to catch creeps on the platform, but for some reason Roblox does not see it that way at all. But there's been a lot of traction growing on every single platform because people started to expose Roblox and putting the dots together.
I have just got a legal complaint from Roblox. I'm not even joking. They have.
Guys, we have an update in the Schlep situation.
So obviously he's a little older now, but this is not a new situation. I don't know why it's finally coming to my timeline. Probably anything to hide. Let me see how many minutes we are in. We're 11 minutes in. I can say what I want. Probably to hide that Epstein list. Excuse me. It seems that our current American administration is doing everything they can to make America forget again, to make America forget anything about these files and this bestie relationship our president had with this Epstein character, who, in my personal opinion, did not take himself out, did not commit
Apparently, the
self-annihilation.
police are now asking Mr. Bashiki to step down. Here is the comment pause to read. You know you did something wrong as a dev when the literal police is asking you to step down. What do you guys think is gonna happen next?
Not what I'm looking for. Anyhow, I will show you this photo now. You're looking at the CEO, you're looking at the person who created and runs Roblox. I'm sorry, but like these people, these PDF files really do have a look. They really do have a look. They look like, you know, Taco. They look like Epstein. They look like, what's that Hollywood guy's name that is friends with Oprah Winfrey? They look like him. They look like they all, like, it's like they have a uniform. People say you can't judge a book by its cover, and I say 50%. Let me tell you something that I learned in life that is actual wisdom. After 25 years old, you begin to look like what you do. Anything that you do. You begin to look like, and hear me out, because if you're doing drugs, you will look like whatever you do before 25. But you could be a streetwalker who looks like a supermodel. After 25 to 30 years old, even if you are still beautiful, you will look available, for pay to play behaviors. It just becomes written on you. It's an intangible thing. You can't describe it. If you are a pilot and you have been flying for a decade, there's something about your walk, your talk, whether you are gay, straight, black, white, male, female, you will begin to look like a pilot. If you are a beautician, if you are somebody who does hair, I'm telling you, for some reason, these women have a look, they have a jargon, they have a type of speech. If you are a school teacher, as I was for a decade, I still look like a school teacher. And it's not to say you're big or small, tall or short, but there's just a look, even down to professors. There's the look of academia. There's a look that comes with it. If you have been a sanitation worker for 20 years, there is a look and a posture and a type of speech that comes with it. Whatever you do, if you are a cattle herder, excuse me, a cattle rancher, we don't call people herders in the United States. I'm telling you, you will start to look like it. These kid touching people look the same. They're the same group of men. And you know what they look like? They look like a lot of your male white politicians and a lot of your white male police force. They look like a ton of people working for the current president and the current administration. They have a look. You're looking at the guy responsible for this young man being sent to cease and desist for catching predators. Where have I seen this face? Where have I seen the wrinkles formulate in these part of the face before? There are wrinkles. If you learn ancient Chinese medicine and you learn some things about ancient Chinese face reading, I have to delete this picture. I'm sorry. I don't want it saved to my I don't want this brand asset saved to my media file. But I'm telling you, like, you just get a look about yourself, and he looks like everybody who's ever been convicted of this kind of behavior. So where are your children? What are they doing? Hey, Aaron, welcome, Third Ward Colombian. It's good to see you here. Uh, these people have a look. And you know what? Because so many powerful people are into child's play, we don't punish that stuff very severely, because let me make sure, like, there's no such thing as rehabilitating a person who is a PDF file. There's no such thing as enough therapy to rehabilitate that person. Being a PDF file is a preference. Yes, it's a sexual perversion, but it is also a sexual preference. This is like trying to beat the gay out of somebody. Do you feel what I'm trying to say? There's no way to rehabilitate these people. There is only one option. There is only one thing to do with these people if you want to protect your society. I can't just outright say on my channel what that is, but you know what that is. You know what that is. These creeps, these online, chronically online, always in a chat room, look. And please, with America supporting Israel, I think everybody knows by now that Israel is a safe haven for pedophiles. I think everybody knows by now that they have things in their holy books that talk about how you can do thus and so to a girl child from 3 months old to 9 years old, so long as she is a Gentile. Now, you, with your imagination, you fill in what you think I mean by thus and so. And it's 3 to 9 because usually, it's 3 months to 9 years old because usually by 10 years old, a girl has a period. She could get it at 13, she could get it at 14, but I got mine at 10. Many people are getting theirs at 10. So that's the safety cutoff for not fathering a child with some Gentile child that you are taking advantage of. This is really ugly stuff. But the ugly things, they have to be communicated, they have to be talked about because they're out there. And if we don't talk about them, we can't prepare for them. You can't build up a shield or an immunity about a threat that you don't know is out there. So this is a whole nation, an entire nation of people. A safe haven for people who would like to be inside of your children. And the only nation that is supporting them is ours. And our nation doesn't support Israel. Our administration does. And that's Trump, that's Biden, that's Kamala, that's Obama, that's like, listen, I'm not gonna pull the race card here. That's a ton of people. That's a number of people, a number of colors, a number of ethnicities when you're looking at our American government. But when a nation will knowingly support a safe haven for PDF files, understand what that nation is leaning towards. The Trump administration just got done talking about trying, inner city teens as adults because then and only then will they learn. Do you know what that corresponds to? If they can try your 14-year-old as an adult, they can also marry your 14-year-old. If you can go to court as a responsible adult, responsible for your actions the way an adult is responsible for their actions, they can in turn marry your kids. Even in, I believe it's Tennessee, you can marry a child as young as 12 years old with the consent of the parent. Notice that's with the consent of the parent. But if a 14-year-old can be tried as an adult, then a 14-year-old can be, your 14-year-old girls can be taken from you by 44-year-old men. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that Trump wants to make this legal before those Epstein files come out, because that's the age of the girls on Epstein Island. All these flights he was taking, you heard the way he talked about his own daughter, Ivanka. He talked about how Ivanka is so hot and how if she wasn't my daughter, we'd be dating. And how, my daughter and I, the number one thing we have in common is sex. Out of his mouth. Go watch these clips. I mean, I can just pull them up. Give me a minute.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it. Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are sick.
Isn't it terrible?
Well, you're known for saying
Is that
outrageous
terrible?
things, Mr. Trump. Who are you, Woody Allen?
Yeah.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter.
Yeah, Joyce.
Said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father."
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
So now there's this...
You don't hold your kid this way. As much as every daddy's girl has sat on daddy's lap, been in daddy's arms, been tossed in the air, XYZ, you don't hold your kid by her hips. I've seen dads hold daughters even by the waist, and that's understandable. Sometimes it's the narrowest part of the body. I mean, even moms who will hold their kids by the waist. Or if your kid is small enough to put on your hip, up under their buttocks because it's the heaviest part of the body in order to secure carrying the kid. There's no reason to hold your daughter by her hips between her legs. It is odd behavior. And I'm telling you, when there's a documentary of Ivanka going through the Trump Towers where she lived, and you see her bed as a little girl, and she starts talking about her bedroom, and she disassociates. You see the light leave her eyes. You see the focus leave her eyes. And it's like she's about to start crying, talking about her bed. And so she directs the camera outside. When she realizes she's a mess, she's like, "But look at what a good view I had." And she points to the window like, "Hey, camera, pan over there." Why was that girl traumatized talking about her bed? Now, for her sake and her sake alone, like here's the deal. You don't have to like these people politically, but I respect people as human beings. I do my best to honor my own humanity by, polishing my compassion and my empathy. So I'm not going to go into that, but there's no reason for this. And there are more pictures like this. And when he says his daughter has always been voluptuous and she's in her 20s, you're talking about her teens and preteens. How old do you think Ivanka is here? It's giving very much 12. I know people don't think a 12-year-old can be this tall, but tall girls are that tall at 12. She's got the best body. Who says that? Don't you think my daughter's hot? She's hot, right? I kiss Ivanka with every chance I get. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's got the best body. These are
What
not
does
okay
Tiffany have of
statements to
yours,
make.
and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
What does Tiffany have?
Tiffany is the Trump daughter who is estranged from the family. Now he's talking about how she's got his wife's legs. She's got her mom's legs, and we don't know if she's going to have the boobs. He doesn't say anything like she's got her father's eyes. She's got her mother's cheeks when she smiles. She looks just like my mom. None of that. It's like, well, we have to wait and see if she's got, if she's specifically well endowed in her bust area. You wonder why Tiffany Trump is completely cut off from the family. Completely cut off from the family. Have you even seen her? Have you seen Tiffany? Tiffany looks traumatized.
Though she had a largely different upbringing from her siblings, Donald Trump's youngest daughter, Tiffany, has grown into the Trump name with ease. From the moment Tiffany Trump was born, she was thrust into the media spotlight. Her mother, Marla Maples, had an affair with Donald Trump, who was married to Ivana Trump at the time. The press caught wind of the affair with Maples, and the story blew up into a full-blown scandal. Donald and Ivana ultimately divorced, and the New York real estate mogul married his mistress. Trump's second marriage and Tiffany's birth became fodder for the tabloid headlines. And though the scandal had a large impact on her life, she may have been too young to understand what was going on during those early years. Maples raised Tiffany as a single mother, as she and Donald Trump separated after 4 years of marriage and divorced in 1999. Maples has confirmed that she was the primary parent in Tiffany's daily life, telling People in April 2016, "Her daddy is a good provider with education and such, but as far as time, it was just me. Her father wasn't able to be there with day-to-day skills as a parent." Tiffany revealed to People that her mom moved them away from New York to get out of the spotlight, telling the outlet, "She wanted me to have a chance to have a normal childhood, as normal as possible. I think that she did well in that." Even so, it seems she's grateful to share such a high-profile name.
Bride-to-be Tiffany Trump is said to be flipping out over the fact that her upcoming wedding may be ruined by a Category 1 hurricane. The 29-year-old and her billionaire fiancé Michael Boulos are due to tie the knot on Saturday at her dad Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach.
So I haven't really seen anybody bring up this tweet when talking about the whole Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jeans innuendo ad, but I'm almost certain that this tweet is at least 60% responsible for her being cast in that commercial. So
My father was the first president to put an openly gay man in the cabinet. When my father
It's the lost Donald Trump video that has people talking. Trump and then wife Marla Maples appeared on the TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous back in 1994. Host Robin Leach asked about their daughter Tiffany, who was then just a year old.
Now, Donna, what does Tiffany have of yours and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral. She's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
Daily Show host Trevor Noah dug up the long-forgotten footage.
I'm pretty sure nobody has seen this clip since it aired over 20 years ago.
And he was left speechless by what he heard.
The wedding of this couple was highly anticipated by many. A year after their engagement, they had a lavish wedding at her father's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida. About 250 guests attended, including
Once again, Tiffany Trump is giving me a little nugget into her world. If you saw her when the bishop was speaking to Trump, you will know what I mean. See, everyone else in the Trump family knows that you shouldn't really react. Don't emote too much. She can't control herself. She is looking around to try to see how she should react. She's talking to her husband. She's giving a little side eye. And if you watch the actual video, you will see there's a very specific part where this woman talks about, like, you know, there are people who work in all over our country, who make our country run and blah, blah, blah. You can almost see her rolling her eyes. And here's the thing about Tiffany is that there's a reason she's Donald's least favorite. She is. That's my opinion.
While most of President Donald Trump's kids are making constant headlines, his youngest daughter, Tiffany Trump, has kept a much lower profile over the years. And it appears there might be.
Tiffany Trump just dropped an announcement that no one saw coming. Stepping out of the background, she's shaking up her image with confidence and a touch of unpredictability. There's something bold in her tone, a mix of courage and a bit of playful defiance, making it clear she's not here for just another quiet moment. As the room fell into silence, the weight of her words was impossible to ignore. But what exactly did she say that left everyone stunned? The answer might surprise you. Today, the world of politics was hit with a revelation that few expected. In a move that sent ripples through both the media and the public, Tiffany Trump stepped into the spotlight with an announcement that some are calling historic. She delivered it with a calm.
You know, I don't like to let people do that to me. What do I mean? When people trap you on their videos by giving these extra long, meaningless introductions, it's like, could you get to what Tiffany said? Could you get to what she said? But we don't have to watch any more Tiffany Trump videos. But, you know, when a dad has what he considers a beautiful daughter and she's estranged, something has gone wrong. And you can almost see in Ivanka Trump the fear in her eyes of, like, it's like Tiffany is a cautionary tale. It's like, well, you definitely don't want to be that Trump. So be poised. Don't react. You know, get yourself some media training. Act like this. Have the strongest savoir-faire of anybody there. Like, Ivanka is very polished. Her dad will say the most atrocious things and she will smile and laugh. And if she makes a comment, she looks for the first comment to soften the blow of what he said. This wasn't supposed to be a video about anyone from our current administration. It was originally about Roblox and what the CEO of Roblox did to a child who caught 6 different predators on Roblox. And what did he do? He sent that child a cease and desist. That child is 22 years old today, but he sent that child a cease and desist saying, Roblox is not here for you to seduce adult men. Called that male child in his t-shirts and jeans seductive. And his t-shirt, jeans, and bifocals. We can close with his address, actually. I think that's probably the most. His name is Schlep. And earlier I showed a picture of the actual guy, the actual CEO.
I have just gotten a legal complaint from Roblox. I'm not even joking. They have sent a cease and desist letter to me, and they've gone ahead and banned every account I own. And you might be wondering, what heinous crime did you commit to possibly deserve that? Well, what I did was get predators arrested on their platform. Actually, 6 of them. I got 6 predators arrested within the Roblox community. Some of them, the crimes are so heinous, I can't even say here on TikTok or wherever this is going. And the thing that's crazy about it is that Roblox has taken a more firm action against me, a person getting these people arrested, a person that law enforcement has made public statements saying that they are glad when people like me go ahead and give them information so that they can arrest these people. Roblox has sent me the cease and desist letter, not these predators. That is absolutely insane. And the other thing that's crazy about this is Roblox itself. It is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids. That is the whole game. If you join it, you're going to see predators. You're going to see naked avatars. You're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this, and it's so sad. I get emails from kids daily about all the horrible stuff that they're exposed to. I get emails from parents talking about what their kids were exposed to. And there are so many predators on this platform. It is actually unreal. So it's quite crazy to see Roblox go after me, a person trying to get predators arrested off of their platform, than the predators. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, we're living in a day and age where no good deed goes unpunished. My final advice for any parents who have kids on Roblox is ban your kids from Roblox. Delete their accounts, tell them why you're doing it, and whoever friend's house they go to, talk to the parents, be like, look, I don't let my kids play Roblox. If you let your kids play Roblox, that's fine, but I don't want my kid anywhere near the computer. I don't want your kid, respectfully, if your kid could just hold off on playing Roblox if he wants my son to come over. Because if not, if your son can't manage and you're the type of person to tell me I can't tell you how to raise your kid and what he can do while your son is here, respectfully, my son cannot come over. Keep your kids off of Roblox. Black people especially, because nobody's children goes missing more than yours. And you barely get an alert. Your kids go missing all the time and they never make the news. They don't make local news. They don't make national news. They don't even get a text message through a phone, some orange alert. I was just talking yesterday about the California Ebony Alert, how California as a state said to itself, why are there so many black kids missing of all the other kids? When it comes to Native Americans, Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, white Americans, y'all little black kids is going missing more than anybody. Let's create an Ebony Alert. So California, out of 50 states, has an Ebony Alert to let you know that a little black kid is missing, but that is one state. All of the other states, you can barely get attention for your missing black babies. So by all means, do not let these kids play Roblox. If you have to break their ish, if you have to not buy them whatever gaming apparatus, so be it. Because they're really snatching our children up out of here. And our administration, there's something called trans age. I hate to do this, but this is the most horrifying thing. Trans ageism, omega sign. All this, I hate these people. I hate these people. So you know how you have transgender people, you have people born with XX chromosomes who identify as men, and people born with XY chromosomes identifying as women. Um, Trans age, you had Rachel Dolezal with a transracial. She considers herself a biracial black woman, even though her parents are white. You have Martina Big and her husband who take melanin shots and have made their skin darker than mine and probably yours have ever been. Moved to Africa, decided they identify as African people. And you also have trans age people. So I will quickly show this, and it's horrifying. I'm sorry. It's horrifying. Fine. Yeah, that I think I said that correctly. Women are XX, but you have women who are XX that identify as male. Did I not say that right? I think I said that right. Thank you anyhow for keeping me accountable and making sure, because I am a person, I will stumble over my words. I will say the exact opposite of what I mean on total accident because it's 3:38 a.m. in my state. Um, but so you have trans age, you have a 39-year-old man born in 1984 who identifies as a 28-year-old, right? That doesn't seem so harmless. But then when you look at these omegas, trans age, big omega, small omega. See, now the internet wants to hide it. I remember these things were everywhere. Uh Let me see. Trans age man omega LGBTQ sign. No, they're omega symbols, and I see that they've scrubbed them. I talked about this 3 years ago, and I could easily find this thing, but it was a great big omega symbolizing a grown man and a smaller omega right in front of it. Get it? Like right, like so the kid is there behind is facing the adult, and it was men. It was men who were just like, look, I'm trans age. I know I present as a 48-year-old, but I'm really a 7-year-old girl. Yeah, that is what we are being called upon to honor. That is the slippery slope with trans. That is the slippery slope with trans. I'm not here to tell you being trans is right or wrong. It just is personally. Two-spirited people have always been here. There have always been masculine people, feminine people, and people who have a blend of it. There are very masculine women. There are very effeminate men. These people have always existed. Okay. But in terms of being just trans, when you take it outside of calling somebody a two-spirited person, when you start demanding that people call you she, demanding that people call you her, when you have a scrotum and a phallus, when you have a scrotum and a penis, when you're in a female's prison getting all the females pregnant, when you're demanding somebody call you she, this is where you get into the slippery slope of, well, if this person is she, how come I'm not a? I mean, this is a defense that, like, if justified, if accepted, R. Kelly could use to defend himself. So what if I'm 54? Y'all know I identify as a 19-year-old. Y'all see how I dress? Y'all see I don't know how to read? Y'all see I don't know how to write? Y'all know I identify as 16. Oh, well, what do you identify as? I identify as a preteen. You're just judging me because you want to listen to what the doctor put on my, birth certificate. You think because the doctor put 1974 and male on my birth certificate that has anything to do with me. It doesn't. I'm trans. I'm trans age and transgender. I'm not a 48-year-old man. I'm an 8-year-old girl. So when I write love letters to this 10-year-old boy, you have to see it that way. You politically have to see it that way, or you know what? You are transphobic. You're bigoted. You're a hater. You're worse than a racist. I mean, it's really trash. It's really trash. And I'm telling you, there is no recovery. There is no rehabilitation for adults who are attracted to children. There's no therapy you can get for that. There's not enough people making sex dolls in the form of 9-year-olds that can heal you, that can keep you away from kids. You are always going to be a danger to the playground. You are always going to be a danger to the elementary school and the middle school that you're so desperately trying to teach at, that you're so desperately trying to be the gym teacher at. There's no recovery. That's like telling people to recover from being gay. I don't like men's no more. I don't like men's no more. I've been delivered. I've been delivered. Ha, blah, 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 blah. Women, 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 and I'm just like, you sound gay. Talking about all that stuff. Look at that list. I know you're Kojic, but you was gay Kojic, and it's a lot of gay Kojics. I know you grew up in the Church of God in Christ, but sir, you are gay. You can't beat this stuff out of people. You can't. Do you know how many women I know who would rather be gay, but they can't be? Hell, probably myself included. If they didn't have to deal with men, they wouldn't. But they're hardwired to prefer men. If they didn't have to deal with men and the things that come with men and all this new manospheric stuff that is tearing apart marriages, all this red pill rhetoric that is tearing families apart, they would just deal with the women. They would just deal with they would marry a gay man and have a lavender marriage. Like fine, we have a household together, but we don't sleep together. We are besties. We make investments together and we do our thing. But there are women who are just hardwired. It's your pheromones. Some of you men with dreads in your head, all them pheromones you trap in that, like it just makes us swoon, and there's nothing we can do about it. There is only one thing you can do for a person who is attracted to a child, and that's execute them. There's only one thing you can do. You cannot rehabilitate that. You can't make that. Either we keep you incarcerated, you stay in a mental facility for life, or we get rid of you because you're a danger to children. When I was in Kenya, and I'm not trying to indict Kenya, I think Kenya is a very special place, but when I was in Kenya and I was studying abroad, and I was at the medical center as a university student studying the issues that the people were brought into according to poverty, blah 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 blah. Do you know how many infants were rape victims? I mean infant. I mean infant, infant. I mean 3 months, 9 months, 6 months, 11 months, just born. Grown adult men inserting themselves into infant girls to death. I mean, these babies were dead or HIV positive. You can't redeem a person who would put his adult erection in an infant. You can't redeem a person who would put his adult erection in a child. And really, some of y'all ought to be unaliving your cousins. Some of y'all ought to be poisoning your uncles. How are so many people molested, but nobody knows a molester? You really ought to be taking these people out. You really ought to be doing yourself a favor. You really ought to be cutting these family members off. You can't redeem that quality in a human being. There are doors of no return. There are thresholds that you can cross. There are doors of immorality that you can cross where there is only an entry door. There is not an exit. That's why people say once a cheater, always a cheater. Now, personally, I think cheating is a quality that can be redeemed. I think people can, get therapy for that. But there's a reason people say once a cheater, always a cheater. Because there are some levels of corruption. You go through it and you think it's a one-time thing. That's why, I mean, let's say you unalive a person. The first time you unalive a person, you'll be in shock. The next time, if there's a next time, you lose all sensitivity and you could go on a spree. Bodies plural on your belt. There are some doors of no return. You walk through that door and you can't get out. There's no exit. You've become that person. Congratulations. Now, again, I have seen redeemed mercenaries. I have seen redeemed cheaters. But I'm telling you, there's no way to redeem a PDF file. There's no way to redeem an epheba file. There's no way to redeem. I mean, why do you think these Epstein people and these Hollywood execs and these casting couches last for so long? They're at this for 20 and 30 years and all of a sudden being prosecuted. You think they're sorry? What did Rihanna say? Don't tell me that you're sorry because you're not. I know you're only sorry you got caught. How do you rehabilitate your kid after something like that happens to them? What do you say or do to fix your kid after an adult takes advantage of them? Really think about this. Some of those babies when I was in Kenya that had been full on raped by grown adult men, they were HIV positive. Some of the ones that lived, and it's like, well, what do you say to this girl? That is a suicide waiting to happen. What's his name? Bill Gates is over there trying to give the people birth control. Why aren't you over there trying to give the people PrEP? PrEP is a drug that you take preemptively. It's well known among Black women and well known among gay men because in America, these are the populations who suffer the most from HIV. Tamar Braxton takes PrEP. Let me put that in the comment section so you can see what it looks like. PrEP. It's a pill that you can take that blocks HIV from being able to take hold in your body. It's a pill you take where if you end up in a situation such as Atlanta, Georgia, where you end up sleeping with a man who presents as hetero but is actually gay and is HIV positive or is actually straight and HIV positive, you can lay down with that person and get up HIV free, AIDS free. So long as you have been on PrEP for a couple of months or more. And so all over the LGBTQ plus IA community, because it's such a problem, there are people on PrEP. Now, PrEP can't harm you, it can only help you, but AIDS is still so stigmatized. People are like, oh, you're taking PrEP, you got AIDS, you planning on getting AIDS? It's like, nah, this is how you plan on not getting it. So I appreciate Tamar Braxton for publicly letting people know she was on PrEP. I hope that made PrEP a more popular drug to take. But I'm like, there are people who cannot be redeemed, and I need you to know that. There are people who go to prison and they get traumatized by other prisoners and they become irredeemable. That's why the power of not snitching is so strong in the Black American community. That's why people are so determined to keep Black men out of jail. I hear you clearly when you say call the police on that man. Put that man in jail, because some of them, you hit these women, you deserve to go. But I mean, jail is what, 1 to 2 years? Prison is a totally different conversation. There, some of these men get. You know how they say don't drop the soap? Excuse me, I was just drinking apple cider vinegar in my water. So, pardon me. But there are men who go there and they've been straight their entire lives. They drop the soap and they're like, I can't even go home like this. I can't go home like this. I've been in here 17 years and I've had a boyfriend for 15. Cellmate wouldn't let him go. I'll never forget when Mike Tyson came out of prison and he threatened a reporter. And the reporter was being disrespectful. And I'm just like, you hoes think because you got some kind of camera, microphone, computer, cell phone in your hand that there's protection. You know what Mike Tyson said to that man that sent chills down my spine? I'll fuck you till you love me. We don't talk enough about what raping a man does to a man. Your prostate is back there. Your prostate, the thing that you come with, the thing that when it's stimulated enough, you have an orgasm, it's up your ass. There are plenty of women who finger their husbands. And she's like, man, I had to stop doing it because he would be done the moment I rub it. The moment I press down, he'd be done. It takes us 33 seconds. Hell, if I don't want to roll over, I just press that thing and he's done. Hey, Auntie Mirar, this is a really dark subject. I feel bad about this, but I have to finish talking about it. Um, you're so beautiful, and the topic is so ugly. But some of these men who are getting raped in prison, they're getting raped into being homosexual. Yes, you can rape a man. I've seen too much of it. I've listened to too many gay boys talk about how they grew up liking girls and then they were raped. Hell, I had a boyfriend who was raped at 13 by my male choir director. He went from being my boyfriend to being gay. He went from being with a girl, mind you, we were not sexually active because 13 is child. He went from liking me, a girl, to being gay after my choir director raped him. Here's what is happening to the man that is being raped. You are being terrorized and traumatized, and at the same moment, being forced into a level of cocaine like ecstasy that rewires your brain because your prostate is back there. Even when you're sleeping with a woman and you're in and out of her, what is being stimulated is not just your glands, it's not just your phallus, it's not just the penile area, it is your prostate gland. That is where your ejaculation is coming from. It's not just your balls. This is why they have something. It was alleged that TD Jakes, Bishop TD Jakes, is a power bottom. And a power bottom is someone who likes it so rough. And I learned this from gay men, so don't think that I'm being hateful. A power bottom is somebody who likes anal entry so rough that it ruptures their prostate gland and they start coming from the front and the back. You see all this white ooze, all this I finished coming out of his backside. Like sour cream from the front and the back. This is happening to a lot of men in prison who have only ever been with women, who have only ever liked women. I read that damn Iceberg Slim book, that pimp who wrote a book, and his book went viral, and he was, the last of the Mohicans when it comes to guerrilla pimping. And he talked about how when he was incarcerated, he met a pimp that he really respected, and the pimp was ashamed to see him. He met another pimp that he really respected, who basically influenced his whatever they call it, game. And that pimp told him before bursting into tears, I was raped by so and so, and I've been working for him ever since. That man who was selling women was selling his own mouth and ass in prison. You can be as heterosexual male as you want to. If somebody taps on your prostate, you're going to come. You know how when you're having sex and okay, there's entry, there's movement, and then that almost there feeling happens? You know, it takes a few minutes for that almost there feeling to happen. Like, let's say you're like 5 minutes in and you get to the don't stop area. I'm telling you, that area of just before the orgasm, the moment something is inserted into a male anus, I mean, because your prostate is only 2 to 5 inches deep in there. The moment you touch it, they're in the almost there area. So all this male on male rape that happens in prisons, that happens with male children getting molested by grown men, it's the truest definition of a trauma bond, more so than Stockholm syndrome can ever be. It's the truest definition of a trauma bond. Even women have songs about what did Alicia Keys, how could you bring me so much pleasure and cause me so much pain? Yeah. More than what a fool. I keep falling back in love with you. I keep on. Like, how could you bring me so much pleasure and bring me so much pain? There's another kind of song about this. I think Mariah has a song like this. Poor girl. Uh, Tommy Mottola is the devil. I think there are a number of songs that have this in it. There are a number of women because it creates a trauma bond. And this is part of the reason heterosexual men are so defensive around gay men. Because they know that they may or may not be immune to being flipped. They're probably not immune to being flipped. Sure, some people are born this way. Some people just come up with these preferences. But some people flipped. And that's why they're willing to fight. And that's why they're willing to kill. And that's why they're willing to do all this. That's why they act so aggressive. It's an incredibly, heinous. Heinous. And Roblox is more or less setting your kids up for this experience. Sending a cease and desist to a child who caught half a dozen pedophiles. And Roblox, as an organization, is not mad at the pedos. They're mad at the child for getting these people arrested. Because that's what the goal has been all this time. The goal has been all this time for grown adults, for grown men to get on Roblox and have a way to get to your kids. It's not right. It's not right to expose kids. I don't even think it's right to listen to music of a sexual nature in front of kids. You got to turn that R&B off in front of kids. You know we be tearing it up, breaking that ghetto love. How you gonna forget? How you go? Like you got to turn that shit off. Exposing children to sexual situations is child abuse. You playing Joe, you playing all kinds of R&B, you playing all kind of 112. We can do it anywhere. I can love you in the shower, both of our bodies dripping wet on the patio. We can make a night you won't forget on the kitchen floor. You know, you say me get on the counter, it wasn't me. You can't play this stuff around your kids. You cannot introduce them to sexual situations. You can't do that. Ideally, you want your kid to be oblivious until they're 13. Because by 13, they've grown pubic hair, they're funky, they got hair under their arms, they get musty, their bodies are changing. But ideally, you want them to be oblivious until about 13. Now, I know the actual age is somewhere between 11 and 12, but ideally, you want your kid to be clueless until about 13. You have no right exposing an elementary school kid to a sexual situation, and that's the primary audience on Roblox. Of course, you can tell them about their private parts. Of course, you can tell them about, nobody should be touching the parts of your body that your swimsuits cover, yada, yada, yada. You don't have to hug anybody you don't want to hug. All these where my hug at ass uncles can go to hell. I'm not going to force you to hug somebody out of respect because it's my brother, uncle, cousin, whatever. Like, no. If you say no, you have, of course, teach your kids bodily autonomy. But when it comes to a straight up, you cannot do that to your kids. You can't do that to your kids, and other people can't do that to your kids. If you can't, how much more so other people? But I mean, these men are 30, 40, and 50 and 60 on Roblox, you guys. Looking for companionship with your kids. Our president is over here trying to change laws so they can try teenagers, 14-year-olds as adults. And once you can legally try a 14-year-old as an adult, you can also legally marry a 14-year-old. This is insane. They're coming after our kids. What do you think people are trying to do when kids go missing? You think they're trying to raise them? You think they're trying to give your kids a better home? What do you think is going on when kids go missing? These kidnappers. You think they're holding these kids for ransom? You think they're just robbing them? You don't have no money. This ain't rush hour. You ain't, Chelsea Clinton or Chelsea Grammer or, Sue Young. You're not the child of a billionaire. What do you think is happening? There are one of two things happening. Either they are slaughtering those kids and harvesting their organs, or they're making them live through your worst nightmare. And these people are all over our nation and they thrive. And according to me, in my personal opinion, it's because our oligarchs, our billionaires are the people supporting this. They're the consumer. They're the ones consuming children. Where is that image? There was There's no need to hold your kid like that. She's got to be 10 in that picture. There's no need to do that. What the hell is that? I wasn't even, when I came here, I wasn't even looking for this. How old do you think she is? Mr. Grab him by the pussy. Now, these weren't even the pictures I was looking for. They were like literally here. And this wasn't the picture that I was looking for, but of course, there's more. Now, why would they be looking like that? This is the trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine, whatever her name is. Why do these kids look like that in front of him? These are the child traffickers. These are the people who have been serving the world kids. What Hollywood keeps calling pizza. These two people. These two people. Epstein file ass. And look who the bestie is. None of these are the pictures that I was looking for. I'm probably going to have to go back to TikTok. Great. And I don't do this because, God. I just want better for people. I just want better for people. I mean, these little girls were like holding each other. It looked like they were crying.
Just make sure you hide your little sister from them. They tell me.
How terrified. How terrified. These babies are terrified. You know what? You know how many times this thing has come up on my feed and I've skipped it on purpose because I couldn't take the photo? He ran on promising to release the Epstein files, and now they don't exist. Now they don't exist.
Who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. I had a case. It was very interesting. A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty. Like the young lady who just asked a question about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came, she said, "Oh, Mr. Trump, she has no experience. So I didn't get her anywhere. She was so good." And I said, "Let me ask you, do you have any experience?" She goes, "No, sir." I said, "When did you start?" You'll work at my clinic anytime. See, now, she worked at my clinic. That's like a death wish for me. That's like an alcohol guy. Your friends are people that are alcoholics. You put scotch in front of them. It's like, this would be my I had a case.
He just said to you, putting these young girls in front of me is like putting alcohol in front of an alcoholic. What are you going to do? You look at every business of Donald Trump's and how it's gone damn near completely broke. Just broke, busted,
A
drives.
1992 party at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump
drives these things into the ground. A lip reader, God. A lip reader, God damn. A lip reader read that conversation between Epstein and Trump and atrocious. I mean, this is really Mr. Grab him by the pussy.
Them are on the younger side. Procuring a minor for prostitution. In a 2002 magazine article, Trump called Epstein a terrific guy, adding, "It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." A 1992 party at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein shared a joke and a laugh. NFL cheerleaders danced among the crowd.
I want to close with these people have always been human traffickers. People out here, oh, we're not our ancestors. We're not no, you are your ancestors and they are their ancestors. And you have on this earth a group of Europeans, a group of Arabs, and a group of Africans who have always sold people. Trump has all these failed hotels and towers, and what keeps him afloat? This thing about going to Washington, D.C., it's because incarceration is down. They thought they'd have more people in prison, but black folk got some act right. Prison numbers are down. So they want to go to D.C. with the National Guard and throw people in prison for jaywalking. Because they owe humans to these oligarchs via the prison industrial complex. They owe the people that they're working with human beings. It's $85,000 a Negro head in prison, not jail. Jail and prison are not the same. In prison, I'm not talking about your county jail or where you go when you get into a little scuffle where a drunk driver goes overnight or for a few hours and makes bond bail. Prison is $85,000 a head. $85,000. This is how billionaires are billionaires. When you incarcerate people, they're like, oh, it's wasting tax dollar money to rehabilitate you. Girl, it's making billionaires money. Why are you confused? So these people, even the way that we have our prisons set up is human trafficking. It is. They got black men in Angola prison in Louisiana picking cotton. Like the cotton gin wasn't already invented. They got Negroes, big black John Coffey looking Negroes outside picking cotton. That's cruel and unusual punishment. But you can only support capitalism with slavery. Capitalism can only be supported via slavery.
The Louisiana State Penitentiary.
And slavery is human trafficking. When I was in undergrad, these men were making 18 cents an hour. Undergrad was over a decade and a half ago for me. And now you see this comment, it says 20 cents an hour. That's $384 a year.
Angola is one of America's most.
That's what these incarcerated black men are making. And make no mistake, they're in there with a bunch of white guards who are 6'2", 3, 4, and 5. The police are white, and the incarcerated in Angola prison are black.
unusual prisons because it is, in some ways, a plantation. Once you pass through Angola's front gate, you can't help but feel that you've gone back in time to another South.
It's the largest maximum security prison in the country. Right now, there are 6,300 prisoners. The majority of murderers, you have rapists, you have people who've committed assault, drug felonies.
How long are you here for? Next 40 years?
And make no mistake, I have, through watching documentaries, through studying under lawyers and law, society, justice classes, political science, a number of men in Angola prison were convicted for crimes they did not commit. A number of them are artistic. A number of them are schizophrenic. A number of them are disabled. A number of them have what the slang term is dumb, but it means not to be able to talk. So they couldn't even testify in their own on their own behalf. A number of these people are just people with disabilities who were framed, evidence planted on them so that billionaires could collect $85,000 a year, $85,000 a year off their top.
What was the charge? 4 counts? Roughly 75% of the prisoners are here serving life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Louisiana has some of the toughest sentencing laws.
A slave for life. 75-year sentences, that's more than life without parole.
In the country, and these guys are not going home.
For most of its history, Angola has been a fearsome place, but in recent years, it's become relatively docile.
People credit the warden, Burl Cain, who's this very unlikely character, of devising a way to get Angola under control.
I'm Burl Cain. I'm the warden of Louisiana State Penitentiary. I've been the warden here about 20 and a half years.
When you got this job, what did you find when you came up here?
There was blood, there was stabbing, there was fighting, and it was totally out of control. It was every man for himself. I realized pretty quick in my career that moral people don't rape, pilfer, and steal. Moral people aren't criminals. And so the best thing I could do real quickly was to get this place as moral as I could, and it would curb the violence.
How do you impose morality on a population that is 3/4 murderers serving life sentences without the possibility of parole?
Well, the basic thing was they were hopeless. It was hopelessness. With the life sentence, there's no hope you're going to ever get out. And so the moral rehabilitation caused the hope. To learn to work is basic rehabilitation. Many of them never worked in their life. They just stole. The guy that's driving the $250,000 combine.
Please don't believe this man. I'm going to let it play, but please don't buy what this man is saying.
Is an inmate making 20 cents an hour. That's meaningful work for them.
There are many honest, hardworking Black men, Black fathers, Black husbands, Black sons who go to prison not guilty of the crimes that they were convicted of, who are mixed in with the population dead ass guilty of the crimes they were convicted of and have probably committed more crimes than they were even convicted of, and they're mixed in with them and they are torn apart. There are monsters in prison, but you better believe there are also innocent people in prisons who are being terrorized and turned completely out by the rest of the population. And I've had this happen to me on YouTube where I was attacked for my purity. I was attacked for my, bright-eyed, bushy-tailness. I was attacked for my morality. I was attacked for my compassion and empathy. I was attacked for my politeness and called weird by corrupt-ass people. People who had been in and out of prison, in and out of selling their cat on the Las Vegas Strip. I mean, people jumped on me for not having done the things that they've done, been the places they've been. And I tell you, it has made a different woman out of me. So I could only imagine what I would be in a prison.
been here since 2008. I got a second-degree murder charge.
What's it like the first day when the prison comes to you and says, okay, now you're working on the farm?
Well, then when I first came here, I see the kind of type of work here. I figured like this. I said, that work not going to be bad, you know. I love doing hard work, though.
You think these young guys like to work? They like to
No,
work?
no, I don't like to work at all.
Before the Civil War, Angola was a plantation. Today, there's a reasonable chance that some of the men working this farm are descendants of the slaves who once picked cotton here.
Once a prison doctor clears an inmate for work, that prisoner's got a job, whether he likes it or not. Some of the prisoners get paid as little as 2 cents an hour. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm all right.
Got locked up July 25th, 1981.
What was the charge?
Second-degree murder.
Did you do it?
Nah.
No? No. But you're here.
I'm here.
Are you free to just go around the
whole penitentiary with me 7 years? I love it.
So you've been here for more than 3 decades. How has Angola changed since you got here?
Ooh, Lord.
I mean, did you hear that? You got to think about it. Did you do it? No. Why do you think that there are always people asking the prisoners, well, did you do it? A good enough lawyer can send you to jail for anything. Anything. Did you do it? No. There are Black children that have been executed in America's past for committing crimes they never committed. I believe his name is George Steiny. I don't want to just leave this video. I want to let it play. But electric chaired that boy. Have you ever seen the movie Green Mile? You see they had that big old black man play the role. That big old 7-foot John Coffey brother. I always forget his real name, but he dated Omarosa before he passed away. Do y'all know he was playing the part of a 9-year-old? And instead of making him a 9-year-old, because they know how crazy it would make white America look, they decided to make him look like a big black man with special needs. But it was a little boy who was innocent. Some white girls had been bloodied and bruised and raped and murdered, and he was blamed, and they executed that child. You wonder why this black man is in prison. He's been here 3 decades. And he gets free range over they basically made him an overseer. These white police officers trust the character of this man. Why do they trust the character of this man? Because he is not guilty of the crimes they say he committed. He's not a criminal. He sat there and laughed and said something like, yeah, I got free. I can go wherever I want to. I love it. He's grateful. You don't do that with a man you think is a hardened criminal. You don't do that with a man. He's over there in an orange vest on top of a horse with sunglasses. You don't do that with a man you think is the scum of the earth. You don't do that with a man you think is deserving of a life sentence. These white people know this. They don't care. It's about the bottom dollar. It's about making the world go round. And you just can't do that without black bodies. From here to Australia, back up and through India to Africa, you just can't do it without black bodies. The sun kills a white person every 57 seconds. You just can't do it without black bodies.
Man, it done changed so much. It's just like from day to night, you know?
The Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola is one of America's most unusual prisons because it is, in some ways.
I hope I got this little boy's name correct. Oh my God.
The youngest person executed in the U.S. was wrongfully convicted, and his story will leave you in tears. In 1944, 14-year-old George Stinney was accused of...
All right, so I said he was 9, he was 14. Forgive me. Bottom line, I think the crime could have occurred when he was 9, and he was on death row and finally executed at 14. But who does he look like he can rape and kill? Those little white girls were found blood all over them. Blood and male DNA all over them.
Of murdering 2 white girls in South Carolina. His trial lasted just 2 hours, and an all-white
He can't even barely fit the clothes.
jury convicted him in only 10 minutes, with no evidence, no defense, and no justice. On June 16th, George was taken to the electric chair. He was so small they had to use a Bible as a booster seat. His arms, legs, and body were strapped down. His father was only allowed to approach the chair to say his final words to his son, before being forced to leave. As an officer asked if he had any last words, George just shook his head. He was continuously sobbing as a leather strap was placed over his mouth. Then the switch was flipped. The mask meant to cover his face was too big. When the electricity hit, it slipped off, revealing his tear-streaked face. 70 years later, in 2014, George Stinney was finally exonerated. But it was too late. He was innocent all along. Like this video to honor George's memory. Justice delayed is justice denied. Follow the Cursed Archives for similar true stories.
Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay after watching this? Your stomach? So when you look at this Green Mile movie, this is who they're portraying. They found the biggest, buffest black man in Tom Hanks. The Green Mile is called the Green Mile because basically you're walking into paradise after that. You're walking into heaven. Or they think you're going to hell because you're black. They think heaven is only for white people and Christians. They had that big old black man play this 14-year-old. Are y'all all right?
Most significant piece of evidence presented against Stinney was his alleged confession, but there was no written record of the teen admitting to the murders. Following a 10-minute deliberation,
They said he confessed, but when you see how they said he was 10, so they had him on death row for a few years, but he was 10 at the time. There are grown men who you can put in an interrogation room, who you can convince to confess to a crime they never committed, because they're just like, well, if you say you didn't do it and we find you guilty, we're going to give you more time. We're going to do all of this to you. So just cop a plea, just say you did it, and we might be able to reduce your time. By the way, it is legal for the police to lie to you. It's illegal for you to lie to them, but it is legal for them to lie to you.
to the murders. Following a 10-minute deliberation, the all-white jury found Stinney guilty of first-degree murder. That same day, the judge sentenced the teen to death.
How do you find somebody guilty in 10 minutes? You know how many days and nights it took people to convict Diddy? I mean, this is hatred. This is not even human. It's like your fodder. How well do you think white people have recovered from this? How well do you think white people, because people always talk about slavery in terms of black trauma, but I'm like, your humanity was eroded culturally. These white Americans, I'm like, your culture is that of no compassion. You have the culture of brutish engagement with human beings. The casual killing act was created for white women who kept beating slave babies to death. And it was like, well, if you're trying to, this is the law. If you were trying to correct the slave and he should by chance die, you've committed no crime. You don't have to go to jail, because all these white women, these white men were like, well, fuck, you can't take my wife. I need my wife. Well, she killed a person. All right, well, let's make it 3/5 of a human and let's enact a casual killing act so that she can't go to jail for killing somebody black. All these half-breed babies all across the plantation, and she's stumping their heads in. You got baby brains and guts all over the front porch because she's losing her shit because her husband can't stay at a Uncle Tom's cabin. They call it an epidemic in the South. of these white slave owners who kept sleeping with quote unquote wenches, bed wenches. They called it an epidemic. They called it a full out medical crisis. So many of these enslaved people, such a huge percent of them were biracial. That is why this paternalistic ass patriarchy decided that slavery itself would be ran by a matriarchy. They're like, well, you're a slave based on the status of your mother. Because they know these white men were impregnating these black women. So when have you recovered from a legacy of human trafficking when it was just your culture? That's why there's an Epstein today. That's why there's a Ghislaine today. Ghislaine, whatever the hell that woman's name is with too many goddamn letters, while they're busy worrying about a black person with too many odd letters in their name. I'm like, human trafficking is part of your culture and it has been for centuries. Are you all right? That's why you can watch all this stuff happen to people. That's why you can watch Ahmaud Arbery and not feel anything. That's why the rest of the world is horrified. I saw a black teacher in Japan. A little Japanese girl was hugging him and crying because international news about unarmed black men being executed, unarmed on the street by just rinky-dink police officers. She threw herself onto the body of her black male teacher and cried, and she kept saying, "I sorry, I sorry, I sorry." And she had to point to the news and show pictures of why she was doing it, and it was police brutality. This is why everybody else can feel the trauma, but you can't. This is why everybody else can feel what you're doing wrong, but you don't feel it. Well, they get on TV, they get on social media, and they fake compassion. Now, I'm not saying there are no white people who are compassionate, humane, and empathetic, but so many of these people, they have to fake it because they don't have it. This is why something like Project 2025 could be written. This is why Roblox can exist. This is why it's always ran by the same people. The old white men of the past are the old white men of today. Epigenetically, it is in their DNA. It is in their DNA as much as it is in the DNA of a black person to know how to sing and clap on beat. And they always talking about black people need to get over slavery. I'm like, did you check the whites? Because clearly they're not over losing their slaves. Clearly that's what the National Guard going to DC is about. These billionaires are disappointed because they don't have the bodies they were promised. There's only this many people in that prison, Trump. What's going on? Hang on, let me go to DC and start putting people in prison for jaywalking. Let me bring the National Guard over here to a Washington, D.C., to a Baltimore that has had the lowest crime rates that have ever existed, that have existed in 30 years. Lowest crime rate since the early 70s. And you're acting like it's Gotham, treating the people like it's Gotham. Whole time the population is 47% African American, and 43% of them are walking around with 2 degrees in a business. Suit, tie, black tie affair, savoir affair, cocktail dress. Oak Bluffs, Ralph Lauren, Spelman College graduate, Morehouse College graduate, Howard University College graduates. These are the people you're sicking your police forces on. They don't need to be policed. They're going to have to raid 5-star restaurants to get to these black people because that's where they be. This is crazy. All of this is human trafficking. You are not supposed to sell people. You are not supposed to sell people. He didn't even get a jury of his peers. The jury was completely white and completely adult. This happened in 1944. Your grandmothers were alive. Your grandfathers were alive. Your oldest aunt was alive. This is not a long time ago. Right. We be so confused. It says, I never knew, but white America is always trying to make sure that look they are without flaws. Yeah, I think I understand what you meant by that. Basically, curating their image because they care about how people see them. And it's like, oh, we don't want to look like brutes. I mean, yeah, we want to do this at home. We want to kill all the black people and sell them and enslave them, but we don't want to look like this to Europe. It was Ida B. Wells and other, Frederick Douglass, people going to, and I got an issue with Frederick, but I digress. It was these people going to the UK and to France and being like, this is your white people over here. These your cousins over here acting up. And they would talk about lynchings and slavery and sharecropping, and the UK was like, really, dude? Really, bro? Is this what you're on? And now the whites are playing inferiority, superiority politics, and it's just like, well, looks like we're superior to you because we don't do people like this. Oh no, let's free the slaves because they think we're brutish. We have to show that we have a more perfect union than they do. Image was not sorry. Let me tell you, the same minority of white people who are absolutely anti-racist, that small group of white people has always existed, and their numbers have not changed. My personal breakdown of white people, let's do it in fifths. 1/5 is absolutely like that of a Quaker. Who is a Quaker? Quakers are a religious group who didn't believe in owning weapons or slaves and offered many of their homes up for Harriet Tubman to establish safe houses along what would be called the Underground Railroad. As she would bring people back, as she would go back and forth, bringing people from the South to the North, from slavery to freedom. That minority of white people has always existed. You would damn lie if you don't acknowledge that those people are in the minority. You have 1/5 of white people who qualify as that minority. You have another 2/5 of white people who are staunch white supremacists, right? We're only doing fifths here, so we're already down by 3. And the other 2/5 of white people are people who just couldn't give a shit. They can't be bothered. Are they super racist, anti-black? No. You got the 1/5 that is super anti-racist, and they're just like, fuck all this slavery shit, fuck all this. The 1/5 of white people. You have 2/5 who have always been MAGA. Whatever MAGA represents, these people outnumber the white people who are like, hell no. This is disgusting. I don't like it. I want no part. They outnumber them. And the last 2/5, right? Because we're only doing the number 5. 1/5 anti-racist, 2/5 hella racist white supremacists, 2/5 in the middle of the two, complacent, couldn't give a shit. We have always been working with those numbers. We have always been working with those numbers. White people come to us and give us compliments like, oh, you're one of the good ones. And I'm like, now when we say that back to you, you're in shock. Oh, you speak so well. Oh, you dress so well. Oh, you carry yourself so well. You're one of the good ones. And I'm like, you have no idea. We feel the same way about you. About 1/5 of you are solid. Good people to the bone. You are outnumbered by another 2/5 that are completely MAGA, completely white supremacists, and even still outnumbered by the last 2/5 that are complacent. They're not red hats, but they dead ass don't care. They don't have the feelings for it. They're the do nothing Democrats. There's something called Project 2029. You know, I wonder about Russians because I'm not sure we have any history of Russia bothering us. I could be wrong, but I don't know of any Russian states in Africa, any Russian states in, South America. Like the Portuguese has a hold on South America, Spain has a hold on Mexico, France has a hold on, hell, Louisiana and so much of the west coast of Africa. The Italians have so much of East Africa. Belgium has a hold of the Congo. The goddamn Dutch and German have a hold of the fucking South Africa. I don't know of any Russian black strongholds. So Quakers haven't are a white group who haven't done anything to us. But I'm kind of looking at Russia like I'm not saying y'all are, oh, we love you black people, but it's looking like they haven't done nothing to us either. It's looking like they fight more with other Europeans than they fight with us. And I think that's why Putin brought out all those ancient black paintings of the Black Madonna, Black Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Black people already knew these folk were black, but he sent us a message by saying, hey, we know too, and the world knows too. We know who you are. They just taught you to forget. I think he was trying to appeal to Black Americans somehow. I don't know what the appeal was, but I think he was trying to appeal to us somehow. You can't sell people. You can employ people. You can make contracts with people. You're not supposed to exploit people. You're not supposed to do your humanity. Even if you don't like people. If I was president of the United States, I would be taking care of redneck hillbillies the same way I would be taking care of the inner city. Now, in the future, that might be to my detriment, but I have morality. I have humanity. I can go to bed at night with the way that I engage people. And the thing is, these Michael Clark Duncan, thank you. I always feel so bad when I forget his name, Zero. Ah, God, Michael Clark Duncan seemed like a fine man, seemed like a wonderful person to be around. He's the one who played George Stinney in The Green Mile. They had that big old 7-foot black man playing a 14-year-old because they know what it would have looked like. They probably couldn't even get people to watch the goddamn movie. You saw another black actor playing George Stinney who was actually his age. And I could barely get through it. Roblox, by sending that cease and desist to that boy who caught 6 predators, PDF files, telling him he has no right to set up adults by seducing them, and a cease and desist. Basically, they banned him and threatened to sue him. Has outed itself as a place, I mean, and they created a dating service. You know how you go on a dating app and you select your age range? Yeah. I'm like, 1 plus 1 is 2, homie. You just outed yourself as an app for child predators. You just outed yourself as like PDF files and epheba files. You just outed yourself. And the thing is, all these people are outing themselves because they think there are no consequences. And right now, there are none. Yeah, and other kids as well. Well, the thing is, it's Ukraine, right, Zero? So Ukraine is not Russia. Russia is actually trying to actively colonize Ukraine. They are trying to absorb Ukraine and invading Ukraine. So I hear you. But Russia, I don't know of a track record that we have with them. I'm not saying one doesn't exist. I'm saying I don't know of one. And kids have been complaining and reporting predators constantly and never did nothing about it. Exactly. So this guy might have went viral. This Schlep that I talked about earlier, this Schlep video game content creator, he went viral because he had the platform to go viral. But there are little kids every day reporting these perverts. There are little kids every day reporting these perverts. Damn, I didn't know this. I remember seeing the deleted scene of Pirates of the Caribbean, The World's End, when it showed why Jack Sparrow became a pirate. It was because he freed the slaves he was carrying after finding out. Now you got to live on water because you had compassion on some black bodies. It's like, how dare you betray our culture? How dare you have compassion on these people? I was listening to an older, old ass white haired white man say, we saw black people as the superior pet. So, like, if a dog is a man's best friend and you can tell it to run, sit, jump, stay, you can train it as a service animal, right? You can Nazi Germany a German Shepherd. You can train it to protect your family. It's like, oh, we have one that looks like a human. This is the best pet ever. We can talk to it. We know that it can talk back to us. It can speak back to us in our language like a parakeet and be loyal like a dog. This is the best pet. I don't know how you could have a soul. And hear me out, because the white church were debating whether or not white women had souls. Okay? Even they were like, do these people have souls? Do they go to heaven, or are they just functionally alive and die like animals? I don't know how you can have a soul in your body. I've never had the inclination to look at another human being and decide they were 3/5 of a person or less of a person than me. I could decide they were less attractive. I could decide they were less, less whatever. Less, all kinds of lesses, but I couldn't decide that you were less human. When I look at Sandra Bland, I see I have no more right to live than she does. I don't look at her broad nostrils or big nose and decide that her life was not worth as much, but there are people who do. And they don't want to admit it because it's an ugly thing to admit. But I'm like, you looking at people as pets is crazy. You looking at people These biped ass hominids as things to own is crazy. Hell, Michael couldn't even own Bubbles when he grew into adolescence. Bubbles was a good little baby, but Bubbles' strong ass would tear people apart. Bubbles could rip your ass from limbs to limbs in a tantrum. Had to get that nigga back. Had to give him away. And that's a monkey. How much more so a human being? Like respect. This is why they can't respect your space, black people. This is why they have a culture of monitoring you, black people. They want their pets back. This is why they can't stop calling the cops on you like the cops is some kind of customer service. This is why they want you dead if you won't obey them because you're supposed to be the perfect pet. And if some of these Europeans are out here with animal sex farms, they got these foxes, goats, and deers with ropes, their legs tied from pillar to post, spread eagle. They got all kind of material of them being with their animals. That's another level, added level of you being the perfect pet. They can sleep with you without anything being serious. They can satisfy their urges without anything being serious or taken serious. I look at these interracial relationships with white men and white women and black men, and I'm like, sir, good luck. At any time, if that woman decides you are out of order, that's why I don't get when they say white women are more feminine. I'm like, nah, you're more feminine in a relationship with a white woman as well. You're more submissive as well. My grandma had 10 kids and only had 3 girls. I got a gaggle of uncles. And every last one of them, when they didn't want to give a white girl the time of day anymore, she screamed rape. The only uncle I have who never went through that is because he married a black wife in his early 20s. He's the only uncle who cannot relate because it never happened to him. Now, the white aunts that I do have, they've never, done that to them. But I'm saying these are handsome 6 foot something black men from the South who moved to Washington State. So they had constant parades of white women in and out of their houses, my mama's house, like just parades. I got hit one time for calling a woman the wrong name because there were so many women coming in looking just alike, looking totally opposite. I didn't know who was fucking who. Straight up womanizers. You didn't obey that white woman. You didn't give her the thing when she asked for it. There was a white girl who stripped herself naked and got out of the car and laid in the middle of the street screaming in the middle of an all white town because my uncle wanted to break up with her drug addicted ass. I'm like, good luck. Good luck. That's why Jack Sparrow said people aren't cargo, mate, because he found the idea of transporting slaves and calling them cargo appalling. Right. People aren't for sale. What makes you what inside of your heart and your mind and your soul makes you think people are for sale? What makes you think it's okay to traffic human beings? I mean, even black people can be held accountable for that with all that pimp hoe culture. What the influences of slavery have done in our lives. Whatever made us think that saying this is some pimp shit was cool? A pimp is a human trafficker. Are you okay? Clearly, you're sick and you're traumatized from what you've gone through. Whole time, white America is ghettoizing us, talking about, oh, look how they're pimps and pushers and blah blah blah. I'm like, you are the OG human trafficker. You are the OG dope boy. You grabbed all that crack cocaine and put it in the black community, so much so that years later, in the early 2000s, the government had to issue an official apology for putting crack all over black neighborhoods. Black people ain't on no boats. You know what's sinking off the coast of every vacation? The JP Morgan boats full of crack, full of bricks, full of cocaine. JP Morgan bankers boats. You go to Chase Bank, you go to JP Morgan and Chase Bank. These black people ain't real. I don't know a black person that has pushed real weight since the Clips and Jay-Z. These people, even when they're selling their heroin or whatever, it's like, yeah, you got a palm-sized thing of heroin to sell and you think you're the man. Whole time these people got entire bricks on ships. Who really is the pimp and the pusher here? Hey, astute. Going back to watch you from the bushes. It's good to see you. It's a nasty topic. I actually, when I see you, when I see Auntie Mira, when I see these lovely ladies, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about this anymore because men can handle it. And I know my sisters can handle it, but it's such an ugly, ugly conversation to have. But you got to get rid of human traffickers. You got to get rid of PDF files. These are people you shouldn't suffer to live. I don't know how to make that any more clear. Like there's a duty on us at some point to do what we would not like to do. I mean, just grown adults flirting with me, trying to coax me to get into their cars, hugging me for too long, groping me, made me suicidal as a child, made me cut myself for years, caused me to misunderstand myself and to hate myself. I don't know why, but it's just different when a boy at school has a crush on you than when an adult does. It's just different. When a peer thinks you're attractive versus somebody you look at as a father figure thinks you're attractive, there's something violating of the soul about it. Just lowercase molestation put me outside of my rabbit ass mind. Let alone some PDF file who's trying to penetrate your kid by interacting with them on Roblox. Grown people on Roblox are like these pervert men who sit near the schoolyard, near the playground. These thirsty ass uncles who volunteer to watch your kid, who volunteer to drive your kid to practice all the fucking time. Why are you so ready to watch my baby? And you don't even like kids. You don't even take care of your own kids, nigga. What is really going on? You should not suffer these people to live. It's an ugly thing to say, but it is true. There is no other recourse. They can't be therapized out of preferring children. Oh, Stu. My beautiful sister, you always bring something powerful to the table, and I listen to everything that you do. For some reason, I feel so shy. You lift my spirits and brighten my mind, so I thank you for being who you are. I don't really get to tell you. Oh, my face hurts. It's smiling and blushing. Um, I don't get a lot of viewers because I have a way about myself. And I mean, sabotage, sure, but I have a way about myself. And in the Quran, I read a statement that I believe it was Thomas Jefferson who used for the Bill of Rights as an inspiration. And it said, speak a true word, even if it's against your own self. And I am married to the truth. I am loyal to the truth. There are things that I don't do even when nobody's watching because I'm so married to the truth. I am only safe when there's clarity. I don't know about other people. Other people, they love to be ambiguous, they love to send subliminal shots, whatever. I am only safe in clarity. I only know how to interact. And I get in trouble all the time for telling the truth, for keeping the score. I majored in journalism and I took the journalistic oath. I actually took the oath by myself. They're like, "Oh, it's no longer required." I was like, "Man, I want all of this." Just like doctors have a Hippocratic oath, there's a journalistic oath. Like you have to tell the truth you can't flinch. You can't flinch. You can't get scared. You're not supposed to be able to be bought. When I was majoring in journalism, there were journalists being executed left and right? Because this is the mid 2000s. Journalists being executed left and right because they kept telling the truth. And I'm like, somebody has to. With all the propaganda that is out here, somebody has to say the scary thing, the uncomfortable thing. And I go around, I tell you, Stu, I go around looking for live streams. I go around looking for people to say things that only I say. It's lonely. I be looking for solutions. I went live yesterday talking about Trump in DC, and I went around, different podcasts where Black people were talking about it. And I'm just like, how come none of y'all are saying the thing that we don't want to say, the thing that makes us the most uncomfortable? How come none of y'all are talking about Trump sending us into a Cold War, sending us into a civil war? These are acts of treason. You got the National Guard on the people, and the people haven't done anything. We're not in crisis. Eliminating due process, where does that put us? That puts us in a place where we can't be taken to the second location. You let these people cuff you, you don't know what's going to happen to you. You wonder why all these black bodies turn up in sundown towns. Little teenage black boy, they wouldn't be in no sundown town, especially when they're from the south, but they end up in sundown towns on top of mountains, handcuffed and unalived. It's the police doing this. It's the state doing this. Government approving this. Turning a blind eye at the very least. I will be having a political conversation probably tomorrow. Okay. I'd be like, somebody has to say the thing. Like people are like, oh, America is, in danger of. I'm like, no, the danger's here. It's not coming, it's here. It's not coming. It's not coming, it's here. We're in it. And we are so groomed by Hollywood to think war looks like cannons, war looks like grenades. And I'm like, the state just threatened to corral, to go collect and arrest a bunch of Democrats who didn't want to show up for a gerrymandering vote. That's an act of war. What do you mean you're going to arrest us for refusing to participate in this? What do you mean you're going to hunt us down? This is what it looks like. And there's so many people in America, because they're not getting shot, they don't understand that our nation is at war. The Civil War has already begun. We were forced into it. And you have a prominent Republican who said from his thin-lipped mouth, this will be a bloodless revolution as long as the Democrats allow it. That's a treasonous statement. This is the Confederacy. This is literally the Confederacy attacking the state of our union. Are y'all all right? Are y'all seeing this? And I look at these different channels, I'm like, none of y'all are covering this thing that I need you to cover. I need great black minds to help Think me through this. I need to hear your perspective. I need to hear your thoughts. I need to hear the solutions you bring forth. I need to know who's grassroots organizing, boots on the ground. I need to know where I can donate. I need to know where I can collect. I need to know if we're going to have our black asses down there defending. DC is ancestral lands for black people. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, it's as ancestral of lands for the foundation of Black American as Louisiana is, as South Carolina, as Alabama. These are our ancestral lands. You got a lot of people who can go back to this and that country. These are the lands, land where my father died, land where the pilgrims cried from every mount. Like, this is it. Your blood, your DNA. If you're a Negro and you've never been to DC, chances are you got DNA in the dirt over there. You got DNA in the dirt on St. Helena Island. You got DNA in the dirt from North to South Carolina to Miami, to Florida, to Georgia, to Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, East Texas. You're made of the dirt there, all the way up through the East Coast. You're made of what's there. And they're trying to remove you off of it. This live stream isn't for that. I already had a live for that. I won't get into that, but people don't even know what they're up against. They don't even know what they're up against because nobody's having the hard conversation. They think war is supposed to look like the Great Depression where little kids were wearing grown men's shoes because they couldn't afford to buy little kids new shoes. They think that's what it's supposed to look like. They don't know what to do when a war looks like I can be at home all day or at work all day and scroll through TikTok all day. They don't think it's supposed to look like that. They don't know they don't know that war can look that way. They don't know that being under siege can look that way. And I'm like, well, what did you think all the police brutality was? What did you think all the executing unarmed black men was? And children and women. What did you think that was? What do you think all these black people going missing all the damn time was? This ain't crime. These are acts of war. This ain't crime. Like you're under siege. And because of these pussyfooting conversations, people don't even know it. Well, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. My nigga, these weapons are prosperous. Are you okay? Are you awake? God got us. I'm like, God got everybody in the cemetery too. God had all of them. God had George Steiny, this little boy on my screen, who was 14 years old, executed for the murder of the rape and murder of two white girls, and who was 70 years later exonerated. Who gives a fuck if you're exonerated when you're already dead, when you're already electrocuted to death? Skinny little boy, those prison clothes sagging off of his poor little boy body. What do you got? God got this. God got us. God got, what do you got? When that same God told you faith without works is dead, we're just going to wait for the clouds to open up and Jesus to come back. Great. What do you got? I don't want to hear about what God got. They already said he's got the whole world in his hands. What do you got? What do we got? I also know that you like uplifting things and not put me down things. So go check out my folders. I think you'll like them. Then you could tell me what you think. Okay. And that's a positive enough comment to end our live stream on. I say so many dark and depressing things that I really appreciate a good comment to end on a positive note. Uppity, and I'm out of here.